Hi, Nate. Thank you so much for talking with me today. How are you?
Awesome. Awesome, Renee. Thanks for having me on too.
Yes, thank you so much. So I'm super excited to get started. Before we begin, though, could you just tell me a little bit about what your business and what you do?
Yeah, so we help real estate investors and folks that are entering the real estate like contracting field and whatnot generate a bunch of leads to get off-market deals. So that's what we do.
Awesome. And so where were you in your business before you started working with us here?
Yeah, and I can give it to you in a couple different ways. Do you want like monetarily or do you want like psychologically, mentally?
Both. We're going to cover
Oh,
all of that.
oh, okay. Okay,
Yeah.
awesome. So I had come into the program doing probably like 55 to 60 in a month. And I had in a different business outside of this, I had done more than that, but it like nothing comes easy in life. And on this business, it's a brand new thing for me, like coaching and helping other people and all that kind of stuff. I'd always just done business on my own before. And so this one for me, like I got stuck at that spot. And then I started searching around and getting recommendations. And then one thing led to the next. And that's eventually how I found traffic and funnels. So, but that's where I was. That's where I was monetarily. And then mentally, I'd say I hit a wall. I felt like I didn't know how to, I knew that I needed to get past the wall, either under it, over it, through it, but I just didn't know how. And I felt like when I came into traffic and funnels, it was almost like someone threw a rope over the wall and said, here you go, just climb this rope. We'll pull you, we'll help you. And I'm like, really? It's that easy? And that's what it's been. It's been like a rope after rope. Whenever I feel like I need something in the business, I reach out, somebody on the other side throws a rope to me, and then I'm able to get over the wall. So yeah.
Oh, I love that analogy. That's awesome. I love that. So you said that you were kind of stuck and you heard about us. How did you find us?
Originally it was through ads. I kept seeing either Chris or Taylor pop up somewhere for like the last year, but I just kind of disregarded because it wasn't on my radar that I really needed help. And so I didn't do anything. And then I started asking when I finally recognized, okay, I need help. I started asking other people like, hey, who in the space is really good at this stuff? And I had already sought out other mentors. Like I had been in Frank Kern's program. Frank's a really good dude and great programs. And like I knew I was looking for something different to actually help me with the construction of this business, not just like marketing. And that's why it's so much deeper at traffic and funnels. And I'm not like giving a paid endorsement or anything, but genuinely from my heart, when I realized the depth that traffic and funnels had after getting these referrals, I'm like, wow, they really cover all these faucets that I need help with. And so I got referrals, and then it led me back to the next ad that I saw. I'm like, okay, let's do this. Let's go.
That's so cool. So just a bunch of ads, referrals kind of got you. What was like the deciding factor in your head that you were like, yes, I'm gonna invest?
It was my first call with one of your advisors, um, Peyton. he
Yeah.
he actually spent more time challenging me than I've ever had someone challenging my life. Like I felt like on that call, I positioned myself, okay, this is going to be a sales call. What's he selling? And it was nothing like a sales call. It was more like going to the gym with a trainer.
Mhm.
And after working out with him, so to speak, for a half hour, I was tired. And he told me some words of inspiration in my business, and I'm like, if he's only half right, then it's going to do tremendous things for my business. So based on that, I took a leap of faith and I said, okay, let's do this. Let's go.
Love it. And what was running through your head when you said, let's go? Were you nervous, excited? What was going through your head at that moment?
Yeah, the financial side made me nervous.
Mhm.
Um, I was excited at the same time. Like I remember it was the homework. For me to get the homework, I had to make sure that I paid, obviously, to get enrolled and whatnot. And for some reason, it was the first time since going to school that I wanted homework. Like, can you imagine that? I didn't want any homework in school, and then all of a sudden now I'm like, yeah, I want the homework. Give me the homework. I want to get started. Yeah.
That's so fun. I know homework. I know whenever we phrase it like that, people are like, give me the homework. I'm like, all right, here it is. Gonna pass it over. And how has cause you came just straight into elite, right?
Yeah, straight in.
So how has your expectations maybe exceeded or changed? Was it what you thought it was gonna be? Or walk me through like what kind of you were thinking and then what it was really like.
I didn't know what to expect on that initial call. I mean, it was under a half hour. I know that it may have only been 20 minutes for all I know. And I don't know if that's typical, not typical or what. But I felt like in that short period of time on the call, I knew enough to know like what I needed and that it would be solved. And with full confidence, your team member just kept reassuring me, yep, nope, with full confidence, we'll help you with that. And then he reminded me that this is like a 7-figure board of advisors. And when it was phrased like that in my head, I said, you know what, that's actually what I need. Backing up a little bit, I was actually looking for a done for you service. I was looking for
Okay.
someone to just like build everything for me. And I thought that maybe traffic and funnels did that. So I said, you know what, I'm going to go forward with this call. And then I found out that it's totally not done for you, which at first I'm like, I don't want to pay a bunch of money and then just have somebody teaching me like, no, I just want it done. I just want it done. But once I got through to the other side, I'm so much happier that I didn't pay someone to do it for me. I'm so much happier that I actually went through every single module. I went through every single coaching session. Like I've been on so many calls and I'm not one that usually like needs to go and take 15 reps and doing a single thing, but like I found such high value from the folks that are part of your team that I'm there. It's a priority in my week, every single week. I could have easily said, you know what, God has already blessed me. I don't need this skill set. I'm already good, but it's not that at all. It's, hey, God, thank you so much for putting this in my path. I'm going to sit here and keep absorbing. I'm going to get sharper. I'm going to get better. And so that's how I feel now that I'm in. So my expectations were totally different. But once I got in, like it satisfied everything that I wanted and then more.
That's amazing. And I love that you do. And I even noticed you're showing up for all those calls. You're active in the community. I saw you here at our office for our office day. So you just like totally immersing yourself in it. That's just, you're just going to keep growing and keep learning. I always tell people like, if you feel like you got it, like your business is going to keep changing and you're probably going to take something new away every single time. So just, yeah, keep showing up, keep doing that, keep yourself involved. I think that's so great that I see you so active.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes.
So this is my favorite question. I always tell people. So I know like a lot of people are growing their businesses, seeing big revenue changes, but I also think Client Kit and Elite can be a lot more, just with the mindset and things like that. So have you seen a difference in your personal life, with your family, and within yourself since joining?
Yeah. So although we're getting busier every day, like we're enrolling more people now than ever before. So it's a huge blessing. We get to serve a ton of people, but my personal time is in a lot of ways coming back to me, or at least I'm focusing my personal time on more of the areas that I really get joy and I get inspiration from, like actually helping a student instead of dealing with a tech problem. So that's been it. And then from the top down, from Chris and Taylor, who I really never interact with, which is good. They built a business and they've taught as leaders that you can have really strong team members and you don't need to interact with everybody inside your program. And from the top down, I've learned that I can run my program the same way. Like in the past, I thought, no, this is my program. Like people are coming here because of me. And what I've realized is that they're not really becoming because of me. It has nothing to do with me. They're coming because they want a result. And if I can bring the right people in to help them with that result, then even better for them, even better. And then it's not a bottleneck of me being the one person holding everybody back because of my time. So I've learned that from Chris and Taylor, like kudos to them. That's probably the biggest thing that I've taken from this whole program from them too, is that how to lead this whole program. And then if I could even give a shout out for folks, Matt Green with the sales calls, fantastic. Like it's not a sleazy way to sell, which I'm totally against. I'm more of a transparent, honest, straight to the point kind of guy.
Mhm.
And Matt is totally about that. And it's all about making sure that your prospect that you're working with is ready to move forward. And if they are, then you you help them take that step. And like, I love that approach. And then the ads team, Dan, he's really good. He's sharp with all the funnels. Kevin with all the copy, fantastic. Travis is awesome with funnels too. Who else have I had fun with? Gosh, I get to have fun with everybody. And then you, Renee, like we don't get to spend a ton of time together, but whenever I've reached out to you, you've always helped. And like, even when you're busy and you're juggling 10 things, you always find a way to make sure at least you reach back and say, hey, Nate, we got you. We're going to help you take care of this. So I felt this, like, I don't want to be cliche and say like, oh, it's like a family, but it's really family feeling. Like, people really care.
Right.
It's not just
that's what we want to, that's what we want, is we want this family. We always, we start meetings with like, oh, we're like the CK fam or the elite fam. Like, so that's what we put out for. So that's not a cliche for us. That's a huge compliment.
That's awesome. Well, I felt it. I felt it. I couldn't get a hold of Alex for a little bit. I wanted more attention from Alex. And then like all of a sudden you're like, boom, here you go. And it's like, yes, awesome. Yeah. And he came in big, just a week ago or so. He came in big and helped me with some things that I hit a plateau again on fulfillment, and some of the stuff that he spoke words of wisdom into the business. It's going to take us to another level now. So the entire team is fantastic.
Oh, love that.
Now I'm modeling my team after what you guys have done in the real estate world, in my arena, real estate and generating leads. But everyone I've modeled it. I've gone out, I found 5 coaches now, and I'm training them the same way. And like, we've got a sales team that's operating independently now without me having to be on all the calls. It's been a lot of fun. And I know that this is only the beginning, is the most exciting part.
I know there's so much more to go. It's like from here too, which is super exciting.
Yes.
So that's so great. That's my favorite question. Like I said, just learning what people get away non-revenue wise. But how has this changed your business? How has it impacted your revenue, your leads? How has that gone about?
Yeah. So revenue 50s, maybe 60, to now we broke 100. So that's fantastic. That's a pretty big jump. Lead wise, I feel like I've only started scratching the surface of the potential that leads can generate, because the whole first end of the program is mostly about testing stuff organically. Test, make sure that it works. And then once it works, then go over into the paid side. And I have been running paid ads all the way through, but I haven't even scratched the surface of the team's potential in helping me get the paid ads scaled to another level. So lead wise, I don't even need to comment, because the revenue speaks for itself. Revenue is more than taking care of itself.
That's awesome. Yeah. More than doubled for you, pretty much, or doubled. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And how has the way that you feel about your business changed?
So I was talking with my wife on Saturday about this, and I told her, like, the first time in a long time, I actually don't feel stressed right now. Normally I like to make sure things are going perfect, and like all the students they're getting to this milestone and all that kind of stuff. And I had built up so much pressure on my shoulders. And now that I've actually seen how your guys' program works, and how some of the leaders on your team have taught me in my business to run my business, I feel less pressure on my shoulder. What I feel pressure in doing is delivering good information, like stuff that can help our members with excellence. I feel that pressure, but I don't feel the pressure of an individual. Like, are they actually on every single coaching call? Are they, like, we email everybody every other week to check on them. Hey, how are you doing? How are you doing? And sometimes they don't reply. And prior to that, I was like worried, okay, now we got to call them. We got to text them. Like, they didn't reply. What's going on? But what I've realized is that some people, they learn different. Some people, like from your guys' program, not everybody learns the same exact way. So sometimes I just have to give them space, let them be them, let them learn how they learn, and not put the pressure on my shoulders, but instead just run a good program, let them get the value that they're looking for out of it from the program.
Yeah, I love that. I love that this can take away some stress from your life, give you more peace of mind and just more control over everything. So I love that.
Yeah.
That's great. And I know you said earlier you really loved the takeaway from Chris and Taylor and about that, but is there any like strategy or suggestion from one of our coaches that has been key for you?
What comes to my mind is working with Matt So Matt's coaching, specifically, it's totally, I've never had formal like sales training before in my life. And some people in the industry think like sales, oh, that's sleazy, whatever. But the way that it's approached at Traffic and Funnels and how Matt delivers it is not at all salesy. Zero. It's straight up like, we're going to be honest with one another. This is like, you're going to, when you go see the doctor, if they hold back truth, if the doctor knows that their patient is sick with something and the doctor doesn't have the courage to tell them what they're sick with and how to fix it, that patient could die. And no different on these sales calls. Like, the thing that I've taken away is that we just have to be honest. We have to shoot people straight. Even if they give us like a, maybe next year kind of thing, we have to be honest and say, hey, is next year really the time that you're looking to make a change in your business? Let's think about this. You came here and you're looking for change, and I've got change opportunity in front of you, but is next year really what's good for you? And so, like, when you think about things and approach it with that angle and just be straight up honest with people and have the courage, it changes the game, completely changes the game.
Yeah, I love listening to those sales clinics. Those are my favorite ones to listen to, because I'm like, oh my gosh, that's like, duh, that makes sense. Like, why is anybody else doing like sales tactics? Like, just have an honest conversation. Like, let them know how you can change their lives and help them. Like, I love like learning more about that every week.
Well said. Very well said.
And I'm in client success, not even sales. What do you think your biggest struggle was coming in? It's like your biggest struggle that kind of turned into your biggest breakthrough for you.
Biggest struggle. Some on the sales side. It was me and me alone. And whatever stories I told myself in my head probably spilled over into the business too when I was on calls. So that side helped a lot. And then also the conversion process. So when somebody comes into our world, no different than any other business, like let's just say you're a landscape company and you've got an ad out there in the world, and then the person that sees your ad, they call in and say, yes, I'd like someone to quote out mowing my lawn and doing flowers for me. And that's a funnel, that's a process. In this particular funnel or process, there's a lot of steps. There's, let's see the ad, let's send them through a VSL or a webinar, let's then send them to an application that they fill out, then let's schedule a phone call. And at each of those places, things can break and break down and have bad conversions. And if you've got bad numbers, there's no way that putting money into one side of it over here is going to bring money out the other side if stuff is broken in the middle. And so one of the biggest things that I've been able to take away now is going through every step of it. Like, there's a call for me, I think 5 days a week, 4 or 5 days a week. And because of that, I'm able to jump in and take different parts of my funnel and get it fixed.
Awesome. Yeah, gotta make it all one big, beautiful thing. So if you hadn't joined Elite, where do you think you would be, or what would your life and business look like right now?
If I hadn't joined Elite, I'd probably be at a similar plateau, and then still trying to figure things out. It's like you pay for speed is essentially what it is. Whenever you get a really good mentor or a good mentoring program, the mentoring program has usually already been there and done that. So you can pay for to skip through a lot of the headaches and get to results faster. So, like, as an example, I sent in a support ticket to you and the team maybe a week ago. And then a couple days later, Alex is there teaching the exact thing that I needed help with. And the thing that I needed help with is I'm getting a lot of people coming in now, good problem. Now I want to make sure that we're fulfilling at the best level, but I also want to make sure that students are having success and all that kind of stuff. Well, if I would have had to figure it out on my own, it probably would have taken me 4 or 5 months of going trial and error and testing and failing at some things. And instead, I just got the answer that I needed. Like, Nate, this is how you do it. This, and this. We've already tested it. We've already had millions of dollars of revenue go through, and we've tested that particular thing. This is the best way to do it. We already know. Here you go. So yeah, if I would have kept doing it on my own, I would have went through a lot of trial and error.
Yeah, I like that analogy. It's like if you're speeding it up, you can get your answer like this stuff has already been tested and you don't have to go through all that like mud. And yeah, that's exactly what we're here for.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Makes so much sense. So what would you tell someone who might be in a similar position as you were to help them make a decision if they're considering working with us?
Well, I just did it literally with a friend, Corey Booker. He's just joined you guys over on the CK side, but he asked me my candid opinion, and I'll tell you what I told him. And I said, hey, if you're looking for like someone to be one-on-one with you and come in and build stuff for you, this isn't the right team for that. Instead, if you're looking for a team that has hit the highest levels of this industry and has expertise coaches for each element of it, and you want to be able to touch base with them on a weekly basis to help shape your business, then this is probably the right team for you. And he took that and he immediately signed up. I think he signed up the next day or a day after with you guys. And I would give everyone out there that's considering this the same advice. Like, this is not a done for you, but I wouldn't go done for you. If I would have went done for you, there would be things in this business that I wouldn't understand how to do. Now that I've been able to scale this to some degree, I'm actually putting certain team members in place to help maintain, so it's not all my hours. But I'm so glad that I know it. I'm so glad that if something breaks, I can go in and coach my team member on how to fix it, because I went through the entire journey. Like, the traffic and funnels team has literally taken me through the entire journey to make this business function well.